You have to signal me. The Faith, Fiction, and Folklore, or as we like to call it, the Tri-F Podcast, where we try not to mess the podcast up. And today's going to be kind of weird, but we're going to do our best to work through it. We've got an interesting show tonight. We've got our Bible reading, and then we've got an update on the list that shall not be named. And then lastly, everyone is trying to kill you. Everyone. They're trying to rot your teeth out of your head. We're talking about Crest and dangerous poisonous soaps and all the little additives designed to make you live just that much shorter. Soft kill weapons, as a certain somebody called AJ has called them. So, with all that pleasantry out of the way, how are you, Mr. Trevor? Yeah, no. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. It's quite a chore to try to multitask like that. Yeah. But I appreciate it. Producing. You're producing. You're a big shot. Playing with big boys. So what chapter are we doing today, Mr. Trevor? Okay. Well, just bear in mind, I my microphone is unmuted. Was my microphone muted before? I can't tell. I hate this thing. Can you hear me on the podcast? Okay, well that's good. Are my bars going on OBS? The desktop bar. Sweet. All right. So we're on chapter 27 then, right? Okay. So I can you share it with me or are you just gonna have to read it yourself? I'm good either way. Okay. I will. I will interrupt you and throw off your whole groove. All right. Sounds good. Whenever you're ready, man. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Nearly blind. Right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. His birthright. Yeah. Blessing. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I have no clue. I have no clue. Well, he was doing a stew, wasn't he? Like he said, he wanted a particular type of stew. He was asking Esau for a venison stew. Is that correct? I mishear that. Well, yeah, maybe they're similar in texture or something. I don't know. But then again, he's old. If he doesn't have sight, might not matter. you know? Yeah. Mm-hmm. For adventure, what if? What do you think of? Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of interesting because Jacob, he is obviously a bad person at this point, or he's doing bad things. But both him and Rebecca take the covenant seriously. And that's the distinction. Esau may be a more upstanding person, but Jacob believes that the covenant has value. Rebecca believes that the covenant has value. The point of the stew story is that Esau doesn't really value it. He doesn't think it's anything special. He thinks it's a tradition or something like that. And so even though they're bad actors in this plot, they still get rewarded in that sense because it's a faith thing. Like they're taking the covenant seriously, whereas Esau is just kind of treating it with contempt. You know what I mean? He's ambivalent about it. He doesn't take it seriously, but his younger brother and his mom do. So yeah. Well, even if goat is dramatically different, she could have drowned it in a bunch of seasonings and who knows? It's like, I'm just going to put a bunch of cumin on this. He won't be able to taste anything. It'll be fine. So, there you go. There you go. Yeah. Yep. Yep. That's so hard to picture. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. It's just very hard to picture. It's like, how did you get the texture of the hair to be similar to a dog, to like a man's arm? You know what I mean? Like, what'd you say? A kid? They use the pelt of a kid or something like that. Kid goat. You're reading the comments, reading reading the chat, and you're producing. You're producing. You're moving up in the world. It is indeed. It is indeed. Yeah, rushing toward oblivion. Hooray! So, but no, I was I'm like, okay, how did they get a kid goat hair to look like the Esau's or feel like Esau's hair? He could have been. It's that or the kid goat had mange. I'm like, man, I'm not sure how that worked. Hello, good sir. An atheist, huh? Well, read that comment again. You broke up a little bit on me here, so read that again real quick. Yeah, it sounds very tautological, circular. So, well, we'll see how that goes. So, yeah, I'm honestly not sure what his point is, but you know, yeah. Mhm. Well, I love how when you get into, and I'm not sure what the guy meant, so I'm not saying that he said this, but it does remind that comment does remind me of when back in the 20 teens when I was listening to Christopher Hitchens and all those angry atheist types. Um, they would always appeal to words like necessity. I remember that, and I always thought that was so fun. Yeah, yeah, they called it necessity. Yeah, like something must exist out of necessity. And I always found it kind of funny that they're using like logical, like basically laws of the universe or whatever to try to refute the God who supposedly made those laws in the first place. And I always thought that the atheist arguments were very circular in that way. Um, Modal ontological argument. Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay. So he's refuting the ontological argument. That's William Lane. I heard it from William Lane Craig, but I don't particularly like I don't understand it super well. Ontological argument's kind of hard for me to wrap my head around. I don't know. It's not that I don't buy it, I just don't quite understand it, frankly. Um, I, Yeah, no, but I've heard William Lane Craig appeal to it before, but that's about the end of my knowledge on the ontological argument. I don't really resort to the ontological argument. I don't think you have to lean too hard on that one. If he knows about the ontological argument, my favorite was always the Kalam cosmological argument. So you can try to refute that one if you like. What's another one? I like the argument from Beauty, but I didn't get that from Craig. Uh, yeah, there's like 20 of them total. So, but yeah, modal ontological argument. The modal ontological argument I never understood super well. So, but how about you Google it now? He's here. We brought it up. So why don't you check it out, and we'll try to get a definition of the modal ontological argument. See if we can find something to work with there. See you, man. See you when you get back. Yeah, the way I always understood that definition, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, clear as mud. The way I always understood it was like if you can comprehend a God, if you have the ability to comprehend a God, then God must exist. That's kind of the only way I can really comprehend that. So, what do you think? Okay, go. Yeah, no, go for it. Yeah, the Kalam cosmological argument. Everything that begins to exist has a cause. That's proposition A. Proposition B, the universe began to exist. Proposition C, the universe has a cause. That's the Kalam cosmological argument. All right, so what's he? I'm assuming he's refuting it. So what's he got to say? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would disagree. I would say the Big Bang pretty definitively says the universe had a beginning. That's kind of the standard refutation of that is, yeah, the Big Bang proves that the universe isn't eternal. I know that they're trying everything in the dog to try to work around that, but as far as I know, nobody's really found a good way to get around that particular problem. Unless you're going to appeal to multiverse, which I think that kind of violates Occam's razor. Oh, you're good. What can you read that comment again? There's something else he said that I'm not sure I heard before. So can you read that comment again? Right. That's what I haven't. Can you elaborate on what you mean by the necessary being is the quantum field? I haven't heard that before. Yeah. Okay, go ahead and read the next part of that. Or is there more to it? No, I'm sorry. Was there anything else to what's his mushrooms comment? You're applying to matter. See, I don't agree with that because you've got a continuum problem with that last clause because in order for there to be matter, you have to have space, right? And in order to have space, you have to have like time. This is a continuum. And so you can't say that matter always existed too, because if matter always existed, but you didn't have space and time, well, where and when would you put the matter? So you need all three to come into being simultaneously. You can't just have one component and not the other. So I would disagree with the last thing. I don't know anything about the middle statement, so I'd like the quantum statement. So I'd like you to elaborate on that. And then yeah, I think we're both in agreement about what the Kalam says. So yeah. Sorry, Trevor. You can go on the modal ontological thing now if you like. Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I understand what a necessary being is. I'm not sure. I guess I'm confused about like what the like I know what a necessary being is, but I'm confused about what the claim about that. You're saying that a necessary being can't exist because of a thought experiment. Was that what the point of that first comment? Are you saying like, yeah, I guess I mean I know what a necessary being is. I guess I'm just not connecting the dots with the first comment. So Trevor, can you read the first comment again? Uh-huh. No, no, the first comment he said, because I know what a necessary being is. I'm just trying to understand how his argument's put together. Okay, so we've dealt with that. We're waiting to see if he gets back to us on the quantum thing. What was the first one? Okay, one before that. Okay, yeah, so he's refuting the ontological argument. But go back to the first one because I'm trying to understand how he's refuting it. Okay. So possibly God doesn't exist. If it's a possibility that God doesn't exist, therefore God doesn't exist. Okay, you're going to have to elaborate on that because you've got proposition one. If we're going to break down the argument into pieces, you've got A, defending your necessary being. And then you've got B saying, however, if it's hypothetically possible, then it's inevitably possible. So can you defend your second clause? Okay, yeah, let's deal with that first. Okay. All right. Yeah, we'll look that up here in a minute. Well, okay, let's define quantum fields because I don't know what that is exactly. You're talking about a world of quantum fields. Okay, but how are you defending whether something can or can't exist? Like, if you like, are you trying to like invert it? Because it's I think I understand. So I think what you're saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, in the same way that the ontological argument says that if one can imagine God, then God must be required. You're saying, but if one can imagine God doesn't exist, then God doesn't have to be required, and therefore he's not a necessary being. Is that what you're saying? I think that's what you're saying. Please let me know if I'm correct or not. Because I mean, I don't really have like strong opinions on the ontological argument anyway. As far as the quantum argument goes, I think you're just moving the and again, I'd like you to defend what quantum is first, but I think the issue is you're moving the whole problem back a step. You're still going to have the continuum issue. You need things like the universe is not a building block, it's a Gordian knot. You need things to come into being simultaneously. And so we can get into the mechanics of that when you like explain what a quantum field is. Sorry, Trevor. Okay. I'm not sure I disagree with you on that. But I mean, I've never been super impressed with the ontological argument anyway. So, I mean, it's not really a, like, I barely understand it. So it's not really a big, I'm not going to bicker with that because I think you're probably right. The ontological argument is pretty abstract. And it just seems like, to me, whenever I heard it, and it's probably why I didn't study it very close, it kind of made me feel like, you can just make affirmative claims and defend your claim by the fact that you made the claim. So I can get where you're coming from. Okay. Hmm. Why do you say it could be eternal? Because again, like I don't see how you're not just moving the problem back a step. It's like you've got okay. It's like okay, it's fine that the universe had a beginning because we have this whole other system that may or may not have existed, but I'm like, okay, well, what makes you think that system is eternal? How does that system operate differently from the universe? And why would it be able to be eternal when the universe had a beginning? Trevor, you said you wanted to keep reading on the ontological thing. You want to, we're waiting for him. Do you want to go on? Or has he already replied? Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. That'd be good. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I know. I'm just saying that there's scientists that would say the exact opposite. Like, I'm running around with the ID circles guys, and they would tell you that the quantum stuff is just moving the problem back a step. So I mean, we could compare experts if you like, but It just seems to me like yeah, like you're just pushing the whole problem somewhere else. It'd be the exact same thing as appealing to the multiverse. At least that's what it sounds like to me. So, so I guess I'll say I disagree with you as far as like issues with the Kalam go, but I do agree with you. I agree with the way you framed things with the ontological. I think what you said about the ontological is fair. So, and if you don't mind, oh, did he already respond? Okay. Yeah, yeah, go ahead and keep reading, but if he responds, I would like him to define this Roma thing that you're trying to figure out, whatever that is. So, because I don't, it's not sparking any memory to my head. Peace, man. Thanks for dropping by. Appreciate it. Give him a minute. If he wants to respond to that, he can. He doesn't have to. Go ahead and keep reading about the ontological thing, though. Let's just finish that up, not leave that hanging, because you were on a site, weren't you? And it's good to refresh, because I mean, I haven't looked at this stuff like real super deep since the 20 teens when Hitchens and Dawkins and all those guys were big. So, okay. 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 I see. All right. All right. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. It's good talking to you. So I can't see the chat, so I can't tell you. Okay. Oh, you're oh, yeah, that's fine. I mean, if you want to get deeper into it, you can look at William Lane Craig's stuff because he's the guy that I heard it from, but it's been yeah, well north of a well, yeah, I mean like 2016, 2017. I mean, I was like 2 or 3 years after the fact even then. So yeah, you might look at I'm like a decade out of date. So okay, go for it. Hmm. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's why I never got too deep into ontological argument to the ontological argument. It's not my favorite one. There are some funny, or not funny, but good brain like teasers that yeah, kind of demonstrate the idea that William Lane Craig used to bring up. I can't remember what it's called, but it's basically a bunch of hotel doors lined up and how infinity how like the mathematical impossibility of infinity when it comes to hotel doors or something like that. It's a funny brain experiment, but Yeah, well, it's showing that like even though we can like comprehend the concept of infinity, infinity can't practically exist because then you lose any sort of numerical system. I don't know why he tied that to the ontological, but he did. And so I did find those math experiments interesting. So maybe we can look that up sometime, do some more research on that. I don't know. I don't think that's what it is. I'd have to look up exactly what that is, but 'cause I haven't heard of it. But it sounds like if you break down, well, he's not here, so I don't want to keep the argument going. I want to be respectful and not refute him after he's already left. But because we already had our back and forth, so but go ahead and write that term down, and then maybe we can do an episode. All right. Well, I don't know. Save the message. Yeah. Um, yeah, maybe we can do an episode on on the ontological argument since it's been breached or broached as a subject. I'll try to find that hotel door analogy. So that William Lane Craig used because it was fascinating. I'm not sure how it tied to ontology, but it's fascinating. But yeah, I never liked it, and I feel like I'm missing something. You know, right? We'll write it down later so I can look up those terms. But I yeah, I it sounds. I feel like I'm missing something when I hear the ontological argument because it just sounds like a bunch of affirmative assertions. You know what I mean? Yeah. Well, it's like if you noticed, he broke it down, or the paper broke it down into five parts, and with each part, like with the Kalam cosmological argument, let me like juxtapose the two to kind of try to explain what my problem with it is. So with the Kalam, you've got everything that begins to exist has a cause. That's a defensible position. Like you would give proof for yay or nay on that position, right? So that's affirmative statement one. And then you've got the universe began to exist. That's affirmative statement two. It's got arguments for and against there, but you can kind of see how proposition one and proposition two connect. Everything that begins to exist in our life has a cause. The universe began to exist. Therefore, the universe has a cause. So you can see how each argument kind of builds on top of each other. Does that make sense? It's like A plus B equals C. Right. Well, with the ontological argument, to me, whenever I hear it, and I feel like I'm not understanding something, I feel like each piece of it's just an affirmative statement that you can't argue for and against, and they seem like completely disconnected or disjointed to me. So I don't see how the argument's very solid because I'm like, okay, well, how does premise A lead to premise five, really? Because of every affirmative statement, it's like, okay, why? Why are you saying that just because you can conceive of a maximal being, does a maximal being have to exist? I mean, I can conceive that being the case, but how would you argue for or against that premise? So that's kind of my issue with it. So it's like I have a hard time understanding how you would even defend the premises, and I don't understand how the premises even connect. Like the structure of the argument confuses me. But hey, if somebody's actually knows something on the ontological argument, I'd love to hear from you because maybe I'm missing something. Yeah. So hopefully, did my explanation as to why it confuses me make sense, or did I just confuse everybody all the more? Well, do you want to go maybe for clarity? Do you want to read those five propositions again? And I'll show you what I mean by breaking it down slower. Four, okay. So what's premise one or A? Okay. All right. Mhm. Right. So, okay, so let's stop there. Let's stop there for a second. So, just for clarity, we're saying that is a definitional claim about what God is, right? So, basically, what that means is if you can conceive of a higher entity than God, then that higher entity becomes God by necessity. You know what I mean? It's like there's nothing higher than God. It's the we're defining God as the maximal being. So that's like a yeah, that's just defining who God is. And you have to try to find a way to make another definition of God to refute that claim. I think so. He was saying that I think what he was saying was that quantum physics exists out of necessity, whereas God, since he can't, since he doesn't, since he can picture a world without God, like God isn't necessary. But he was also saying that he can't picture a world without the quantum, so therefore quantum is necessary. That's what I think he was saying. But but yeah, that's kind of but his point, like I didn't agree with that necessarily, but his general broader point about they're both just making affirmative statements. So it's like in premise A, a necessary being exists necessarily. That's pretty self-evident, but it's like, oh, then premise B is like, but if you can conceive of a world where that necessary being doesn't exist, then it's not necessary. Yeah, I think basically his refutation of the ontological argument on that basis is fair, but I again, I kind of have to claim I don't really understand the ontological argument that well, but I understand what he's saying, and that was my impression when I first heard it, so I never took it that seriously. So anyway, but what's the next premise on that? Okay, yeah, so there's a hypothetical world where God exists. Fine. Yeah. See, now that I don't know how you defend premise three. And I think that's the problem with it. Again, I'm a Christian. I just think the Kalam cosmological argument is worlds better. But yeah, my big issue is okay, I understand one, I understand two, but when you get to premise three, I'm like, okay, how would you defend that? That just seems like an assertion. Okay. See, that just seems like an assertion to me. Am I missing something? I feel like am I crazy? Because I feel like that's just asserting stuff, and I don't know how you would argue that one way or the other. Yeah, but yeah, I right. It's a theory, but this is supposed to be an argument. You know what I mean? Like A plus B equals C, but this just sounds like a bunch of affirmative propositions, which is not the same thing as an argument. You know what I mean? That's what I mean by I don't see how each premise builds on top of the other. These just seem like a bunch of disparate affirmative positions, which may very well be true, but I'm not seeing A plus B equals C. I'm not seeing how one leads to the other. Do you understand what I'm saying? Sorry. Okay. Okay, well, four is, it sounds like four is dependent on defending three. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like you're making like, well, if God's hypothetically, if it's hypothetically possible for God to exist, then God must exist. And I'm like, I don't even know how you would defend that in an argumentation because from if I were an atheist, which I'm not, but if I were an atheist, I would be sitting there going, why? But why though? Why should I believe that over something else? You know what I mean? Like that, how do you defend premise three of the ontological argument? That would be my question. So I don't like it. But again, there's like 20 others. It's not like you have to believe it's not like Christianity hinges on the ontological argument, but it is my least favorite argument of all of them. So anyway, but it's just interesting you brought that up. So yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Well, that I agree, man. I think that's a good attitude to have. With that being said, I'm glad he got on the comments section. That was a good back and forth. That I haven't thought about that stuff in a long time, so I'm gonna have to start looking into it again. That was fun. That was fun. So okay, you want to go back to the Bible reading? All right. Okay. Yeah, I feel bad for Isaac. He knew. Like he could just he smelled a rat. You can tell he smelled a rat. Yeah. 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 That's interesting. Well, Jacob was probably her favorite. I've heard that. I can't remember why he was her favorite though. I remember that. I heard him called him. Yeah, I've heard him called a mama's boy, but I don't details escape me. So yeah. All right. Would you like to move on, good sir? I read that again. I missed it apparently. Who's coming near? Okay. Uh-huh. Okay. Uh-huh. Right. Why do you say that? Mhm. Uh-huh. Are you sure he's not talking to himself? Like a inner monologue thing? Or maybe he's declaring it to God as like a ritual thing or okay. Mhm. 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 Okay, so this is okay, so this is he's declaring the blessing out loud at this point. That's what's going on. Okay. I'm yeah. Mhm. Yeah, he's declaring he's giving the blessing now. He's declaring it out loud. Well, yeah, he's talking to Jacob who's in the room, so and whoever I mean, there might have been attendance or something. Somebody had to record the event somewhat, so there may have been about a bunch of people there, who knows? That's a good point, it's fair. Unless Rebecca paid him off, we know she's cunning. She made up that goat skin thing. She shrewd that one. Yeah. Yeah. Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. No, you're good. Hmm. Yeah, remember Laban? He was the guy that he was the guy that tried to get the servant to stay, to stay for a little while longer. And the guy was like, he's like, no, I'm gonna go. They're just seeing. I mean, we didn't confirm it, but if you read between the lines, you wonder if the hired hand was worried that Laban was going to try to mess him over or do something crooked. Oh yeah, so that's the same fella. Jacob is going to get his in spades. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing. It's like, yeah, he got the blessing, but the Almighty made him pay for it in more ways than one. So, so yeah. Yeah. Because of the what? Yeah, because of the daughters of Heth. I don't understand that reference. Okay. Hey. Before we go on. Oh, it's the last word of the chapter? Okay, well, before we go on to the next subject, look up the daughters of Heth. I've never heard of them. Is there anything known about those guys? Check, check, check. Testing, testing. You weren't muted a minute ago. Um, the previous commenter, yeah, he was hearing us fine. So it must have just happened. Huh. Well, I don't know. Are you good now? Me or okay, so you? All right. Well, check your bars. Check your OBS bars. See, I should be from your end. I should be on desktop and channel like an audio capture for your microphone. No bars? Because if you don't have bars, I'm going to talk and kill time. Okay. Okay. Well, while Trevor's getting that figured out, I will stall. So we are currently, while Trevor is looking up how to fix his microphone, we were trying to figure out who the daughters of Heth are. It's a shame that his mute is not working because that means he hasn't. He's been the one reading the whole chapter, and apparently we haven't gotten a word of it. So I don't know how we're gonna fix that. I don't know. We'll have to see. So,
Yeah.
and here, did you figure it out?
Yeah, it hasn't been. Wow, there it goes. It switched to a different audio input.
Yeah, OBS does that because it's Satan.
Man, it's working now. I can see it clearly. I didn't even catch that before I started streaming.
Oh, I've done that so many times. It's infuriating. I hate OBS.
Well, do you want me
Hate
to
it.
restart or?
No, we'll try to problem solve it in post because we had a good back and forth with that mushroom guy. So I kind of want to preserve
Yeah,
that if possible. So we'll I maybe I'll read it after the fact or something
yeah.
and see to work. We'll do some post editing.
Thanks, Beans to Calyx, for letting me know. The last guy didn't let us know, so I didn't even know.
Yeah.
It was off. It was just off. It's off. All I had to do was turn it on through OBS.
Oh my gosh. I hate OBS, man. It's the devil. It's the freaking devil.
It's like, what the heck?
All right.
Are you
Well,
double hearing Gary though? Can you let me know?
oh, do you have an echo on your end, or are you worried it's on the live stream?
I'm just worried it's on the live stream.
Let me get downstairs in the office and I'll check it on the computer since I'm on the phone tonight.
Okay.
So,
Sorry about that, people. I've
oh,
been.
you're
I'm just gonna tell them what I've been reading. Just kind of a quick overview. So we started reading Genesis 27, and then Gary had kind of a back and forth with a guy in the comments about what was it?
total
Quantum.
ontological argument.
Yeah, modal ontological argument. So I've just been reading everything. and
Yeah, oh, that reminds me, you're going to have to save those websites since that was all on mute because you were the one reading. You were the one reading the
oh, the
stuff on the
article.
internet. Yeah, the premises.
Ah, man.
Oh my goodness.
Let's see.
Oh dear. Yeah, you'll have to save those websites and we'll see if we can fix it in post. But anyway, what's the next issue, Mr. Trevor?
So, um, if you're live, that's gonna end segment one, and thank you for being here. Now we're gonna move on to an Epstein thing,
All right.
and it's not really an update, I guess. It's just something that um I found when I logged in today.
Uh-huh.
This is going to be a good episode. LOL. Beans Calyx.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm always so chipper when talking about Epstein. Good
Yeah.
night.
So, um, anyways, I just logged in and this loaded up for me. And it was about the diamonds and hard drives from Jeffrey Epstein's safe went missing for 5 days.
Really?
And now we know where they went. So
Or they go?
I was just going to read this and see where they went.
Go for it, man. Sounds like a plan.
So the FBI left behind hard drives and diamonds from Jeffrey Epstein's safe when they raided his home. Epstein's accountant, who gave them to the FBI 5 days later, told lawmakers of how he got them. Another deposition sheds light on hard drives that went missing from Epstein's Florida home. So, apparently, this is a huge headache. So, when FBI agents raided Jeffrey Epstein's Manhattan mansion upon his July 2019 arrest, they used a chainsaw to open a metal safe. Inside, they found a pile of loose diamonds, cash, passports with the disgraced financier's photo under different names, and several hard drives and CDs. But because agents didn't have a warrant to seize the safe's contents, they left them in the middle of the floor, with the hard drives and binders piled on top. So all that stuff they just left there. Diamonds, hard drives. Because the
What's the
agents...
worst that could happen? It's almost like they wanted it to get lost.
Yeah, almost like they wanted someone to steal it or something. So that was
Incompetence.
yeah.
Malice disguises incompetence.
So that was 2019 when they
Yeah.
first.
I think Benny Johnson has showed those pictures of all that stuff like in spades, over and over and over again.
There's actually a picture on here of the safe in the middle of the hallway with all that stuff just sitting there. That's crazy. They just left it there.
I think it was the Southern District of New York that was in charge of that, if I remember correctly.
But they just left it there because they didn't have a warrant to seize the safe's contents. So they only had a warrant to look around, and then they came across a safe, and instead of being like, hey, let's wait and get a warrant before we open this up, they just took a chainsaw and opened it up. And then left it sitting there because they couldn't take it. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous.
It's on purpose. It's always on purpose. Incompetence or malice disguised as incompetence. It's like every conspiracy theory in a nutshell.
Yeah. So,
well, that's what I heard. Just as an aside, and I'm not very happy about it.
What did you heard?
I heard that old Pam Bondi and the FBI, they're not gonna release the remaining 2.3 million documents. Since, nobody's looking because of the Iran thing, they're like, well, we're just not going to give them to you since nobody's paying attention. They've obviously fought like the devil through every step of the process. So I'm thinking about bringing the overlay back. There's still no list. I need to change it to something like that. Yeah, I need to change it to something like 200 or 2.3 million to go.
Oh.
Or something like that.
Or 90% redacted.
Or 90% redacted. There you go. That would work. That'd be great.
Wow.
Oh, God.
Let's see. They left them in the middle of the...
I'm sorry. Go on. Go on, good sir. I apologize.
They left them in the middle of the floor with the hard drives and binders piled on top. Agent Kelly McGuire testified at the criminal trial of Epstein's co-conspirator. Is it Ghislaine or Ghislaine? I've heard both. Maxwell.
Ghislaine.
Ghislaine.
I think Ghislaine's probably right.
5 days later, when the FBI returned to the mansion with a new warrant in hand, the contents were gone. So
Of
5
course
days
they were.
later, they finally go back. Why would it take 5 days to get a warrant to grab contents such as diamonds that they just left in the hallway?
Well, why did they go there before having a warrant? They wouldn't have that problem if they'd had the
No,
warrant prior. What?
they had the warrant to search the mansion and go through it. They did not
But
have
they
a
didn't have
warrant
what
for
they needed.
the safe. It's like, what? Don't open the safe. Go get the right warrant that you need, and then open the safe.
Mm.
That makes sense to me.
Well,
But they just cut it
again,
open.
the stupidity is the point. It's a
Yeah.
feature, not a bug. All
Late,
that good stuff.
yeah. Later that day, the items were handed over to the FBI in the form of 2 suitcases by a guy named Richard Kahn, Epstein's longtime accountant. So apparently he knew what was going on and went and grabbed that stuff. Huh. Why Kahn took the safe's contents and what he did with them has been a mystery until now. Okay.
Oh, we're gonna learn something today.
In his March 11 testimony before the House Oversight Committee, Kahn said that the safe's contents passed through 3 different people before coming into the FBI's possession. It shows the photo of the safe in the hallway.
Mm-hmm.
In a disposition made public Tuesday, so this past Tuesday, Kahn said, at least that's what I'm assuming was just the other day.
Uh,
Kahn said he was informed of the raid by Merwin de la Cruz, the manager of Epstein's Upper East Side mansion. He said he packed the safe's contents into 2 suitcases and left them with Kahn's doorman in Manhattan. Why would you leave diamonds with a doorman? That makes no
someone
sense
like
to
none of
me.
this makes any sense.
That's
It's a
crazy.
little weird, Trevor. It's
When
all
it,
on purpose.
yeah, a little on
Mm.
purpose. The FBI. When the FBI broke into Epstein's home, they broke down his door and his door could not lock and the alarm could not set properly. Imagine that. Kahn told the committee when Merwin, the house manager, was at the house, he realized that these items were not safe to be left alone. Kahn, who wasn't in New York City at the time of the raid, said he took possession of the items 3 or 4 days later. He testified that he brought the 2 bags into his apartment and didn't look inside them. This is Kahn speaking. I never touched them. I never opened them. I left them in my dining room. Well, he's just straight up lying. How could you leave them in your dining room if you never touched them?
Yeah.
It's like, wow. A day or 2 later, De La Cruz called Kahn again to say the FBI was looking for the stuff they had left behind. Kahn told the committee. That's when he grabbed the bags from his home and brought them to the FBI agents at Epstein's house, Kahn said. Reached by Business Insider, De La Cruz declined to comment. Daniel Razumna, an attorney representing Kahn, declined to comment beyond Kahn's testimony. This is just getting worse and worse. At Maxwell's trial, McGuire testified that the contents of the suitcase appeared to be all of the items that had been previously located in the safe, In a court filing, prosecutors said the safe stash included 48 loose diamonds, which is the same number of diamonds Epstein bequeathed to his fiancée, Karina Shuliak, while awaiting trial on sex trafficking charges before his jailhouse suicide.
That was totally not a self-offing. He did not self-delete.
There's actually conspiracies now that he's still driving around.
Oh yeah, that Palm. What did he call himself? The dude was trying to turn it into a marketing opportunity. Palm Beach Paul or something like that. What's his name? Hang on a minute.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of shorts where people are like they have their phone and they're turning, they're looking at the phone, they're like, he's still alive, and they turn the phone and he's driving next to the bus or whatever they're sitting in.
That's Palm Beach Pete.
Palm Beach Pete.
There's this guy on the internet. Go type in Palm Beach Pete. This is the latest. It's stupid, and of course, people are so thrown off at this point that they think that Palm Beach Pete is really Epstein with a really nasally voice, like like he's changed his voice so he can still remain in the public eye. So people are not convinced. But then this guy is going, no, my real name is Palm Beach Pete, Palm Beach Pete, and I'm like, I'm just waiting for the guy to come out with a T-shirt.
Wow. Yeah, it does.
Very happy that he got mistaken for a sex offender.
It does look like him. Let's see.
I mean, I would be livid. I would be like, I'm shaving my head or something, man. I don't want this to go on, but he is leaning into it.
Let me get this on the stream here.
Yeah.
If it'll let me work it in. There we go. So apparently that's Palm Beach Pete. This is on the Fox News article.
Right.
Wow.
Isn't that trippy?
That's crazy. This photo is captioned, "Hello, I am Palm Beach Pete, not Jeffrey Epstein," on the not Epstein Instagram page. The photo has nearly 25,000 likes. Wow.
It's just crazy. It's like this whole thing's a clown show.
Oh, okay.
But they're hoping it'll go away.
Yeah, he actually posted. This is him talking. "Some dude randomly filmed me while I was driving on I-95, unbeknownst to me," he said in a separate clip that later received 1 million likes, adding that his phone started blowing up soon after, and the next thing I know, I'm a viral sensation. Didn't even know what was going on. And
yeah.
now he's a viral sensation.
That's not exactly how I would want to be considered a viral sensation. You know what I mean?
Fox has the TikTok pulled up here. Do you want me to play that?
Sure, why not? Then there's a video I want you to type in. I haven't seen before, but this is by the BBC, which is always so unbiased, but
Epstein is alive.
It's Massey. Massey's saying this thing ain't over yet just because the war in Iran's going on. So
that's crazy.
Which I hope we keep pushing because again, Pam Bondi and them guys are going, we're not gonna release it. We're done, I tell you. We're done.
They're refusing to release what they've already been told to release.
Yeah, because they know Trump ain't gonna do nothing, I guess. I mean, I'm just disgusted by it.
Yeah, he's more interested in the whole Iran thing, it seems like.
Well, it is a war. Yeah, he's understandably distracted at this point, but we should still nag incessantly about those files.
Are they still talking about those?
Yes, we're still talking about it.
I can't believe
you ain't gonna stop.
Say that. It's like, dude, Yeah, we want to know what's going on.
Yeah, well, the thing is, as irritated as I am at Trump about that, which I mean, he's so it's hard because I thoroughly agree with what he's doing in Iran, and I think this is overdue. But the Epstein stuff just about drives me up the wall, and the fact that he goes after Massey as hard as he does goes up the wall, and it's the chagrin, it's the chagrin that everybody has over the libertarians. I'm like, they're libertarians. They've always been like this. Why are you getting so upset now? They
Yeah.
never vote and they hate war. Why are they like grandstanding now? They have always been this way. What's with the chagrin? It's like getting mad at a cow for pooping in a field. That's what they do. I don't understand the shock. So anyway, but beyond that, the thing that's really got me like upset is like I could have understood if because Trump said, according to Marjorie Taylor Greene, Trump said that his friends are on this, and that's why he's so upset. He was mad that Massey and her were pushing this thing because he has friends on that list. And I'm like, what's really frustrating is nobody that I was aware of in the conservative movement was like, oh, Marjorie Taylor Greene's lying. I can't trust her and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, that's not what they said, though. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. That's not what they said, though. They did not accuse Marjorie Taylor Greene of lying. They were basically like, oh, nobody cares about Epstein. Instead of like going, we deny that she's telling the truth. It's like they tried to copy Trump's talking points. You know what I mean? Because who led with it? It was Trump going, we're still talking about the Epstein files. And they just copied him because they wanted access. And I think it shows that the podcasting or the leadership in MAGA or whatever is really fallen off the rock, because I could have lived with them not believing Marjorie Taylor Greene. I could have lived with even somebody making a Machiavellian type argument. Like, we have to do this because our children are going to suffer even more if we don't save the economy or something like that. I wouldn't have agreed if any of that, but I could have lived with it. What I couldn't stand, though, is this whole, oh, nobody cares. It's just an internet thing. Even though those same people who were sitting there talking about how it's just an internet fad were bragging about how the internet has replaced the corporate media 2 months earlier. But, now that Epstein's a thing, though, it's like being an internet fad doesn't count, even though the majority of the people in this country are now watching the internet.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? It's like they're lying. They went from telling people what they think to setting narratives.
Yeah.
So sorry, that's my rant. I'm very upset about it. Arg, I'm angry. So
that's why you're here, so you can rant while I read.
There you go.
Cause I'm not a ranter. I'm just like, yay, I'm here. I'll read some stuff and try and do research. Try and stay on top of it, but
yeah. Did Mushroom RNX send another quote? I'm seeing another remark from him on the chat. Well, I think I've finally got it. I'm down in the office, so I've got the live stream pulled up now, and it looks like he said quantum electronia, then ... So
yeah, that's the one we were gonna look up at the end of the stream.
Oh, that's the one you pinned.
Yeah,
Okay,
I pinned that to remind us of that.
Okay, I normally when something's pinned, it's on the top, but
oh yeah, I put it on the bottom.
Okay, that's all right. All right. So, is there anything else about the Epstein thing that you're wanting to discuss, like other than Palm Beach Peach? Palm Beach Peach.
Well, there's it's just now starting to go into the hard drives, the missing Palm Beach hard drives.
All right, go for it.
The testimony released by the committee on Tuesday also shed light on the fate of the computers removed from Epstein's Palm Beach, Florida house shortly before police officers executed a search warrant there in 2005 during a local investigation into his interaction with underage girls.
His interaction with underage girls.
What does that tell you?
They're pro PDF files and don't want to admit it. That's what that sounds like.
That's what it sounds like.
Who wrote this? Who wrote this?
It's just what popped up on my MSN when I logged in to start
it's
doing
MSN.
stuff. Yeah.
I mean, MSN, the search browser?
Yeah, no, I
Or
didn't search it.
a
It
website?
was just on my newsfeed.
Yeah, well, who's the article by?
Oh,
Name or whoever's at the bottom of the thing.
let's see. Would it be at the bottom or at the top? Let's see. Story by JSHAMSIAN.
JSHAM. Josh.
Jacob Shamsian.
Okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying. J. Shamsian. I think that's the first
Insider.
name.
Yeah, Jacob.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Jacob.
they're not giving a full name.
It's
Yeah,
right
well,
here.
whoever it is seems to be a little sympathetic.
Jacob Shamsian is his full name.
Okay. Well, anyway.
Will you want me to stop there?
Yeah, if it's MSM, honestly, I don't think you're going to get a good. And you're not going to. I mean, you can keep reading if you like, but I don't think you're going to get the full scope. So they're bringing up the hard drives. Is that what you said?
Yeah, I lost my spot, though. Where was I?
Okay, well, take your time.
There it is.
Yeah.
So then it just gives a picture of his Palm Beach house. So in a March 19th deposition with the White House Oversight Committee, Darren Indike, Epstein's longtime personal attorney, said he learned after Epstein's 2008 conviction that the hard drives were in the possession of Riley Kairali, a private investigations firm. In October of 2005, memo released by Justice Department as part of the Epstein files firm co-owner William Riley told one of the Epstein's lawyers that an employee had retrieved computers from Epstein's home, among other items of potential evidentiary value. So after Epstein's Florida criminal case concluded, Riley asked Epstein and his lawyers what he should do with these items belonging to Epstein. The DOJ's files show he said they included computer hard drives which were cloned by a forensic specialist and locked in storage. Riley declined to comment to Business Insider, and Dyke said in the deposition that he didn't know anything about the storage units. The Epstein files show that Kahn was in charge of paying the fees for the storage site, but he wasn't asked about them in his deposition. On Friday, Democrats on the White House Oversight Committee sent letters to Riley and two other private investigators who worked for Epstein asking about the computers. The committee requests that you make yourself available for a transcribed interview to provide insight into the contents, removal, storage, and location of materials removed from Epstein's Palm Beach home. That's what the letter said. It's a video, I guess, about it. And
So it sounds like they've got like a missing. Am I hearing this correctly? Because I mean, I guess I'm a little foggy, but it sounds like they are having issues of evidence missing and being shifted, and
missing.
It seems to be the gist of this whole thing.
Yeah.
It just never ends. It just never ends. It goes on and on and on and on. You know.
Yeah, it just seems like the more we talk about it, the more they want to try and hide it.
Yeah, because like what we said, this is the battery. This is the battery of the whole kabang. Blackmail operation is how they get these politicians to do what they want, or rich people to do whatever they want. Like, even if Epstein wasn't the biggest fish in the pond, like, this general methodology is how they do it. Like, if it isn't, I don't know how prevalent the child abuse aspect of it is, but this kind of honeypot operation where people are introducing, other people to this blackmailer, and it kind of just goes on and on and on. Like, the way that they do that, that's how the CIA works. And if you'll know, when we saw a brief glimpse of what was redacted, like, because they didn't redact it right, and so people were copy and pasting and getting the actual files anyway. What did we see? We didn't see, just more names. We saw people that were connected to other people. So they're actually blocking middlemen. You know what I mean? Like, I can't remember the name of the guy specifically, but there was like a lawyer who was like connected to Trump and a bunch of other people. Again, not saying Trump did anything, but this lawyer that had been redacted was like a middleman to several other people that were in the files.
Oh, okay.
So it's just very interesting that yeah, I don't even know what I'm trying to say. It's just, it shouldn't say interesting. It's infuriating. It's infuriating that we're having to fight this hard to get the truth out. But hopefully when this war in Iran thing calms down, we'll get back on this and keep pushing the FBI to actually do the right thing for once. Before we wrap this subject up, there is a video I would like to look up. I don't have connections to the studio. Since you're our marvelous producer this evening, but there is a video. I'm going to try to give you the title of it. This is on the YouTube channel BBC Politics and BBC News, and it's titled "The Epstein Files Are Still Going to Be Here When This War Is Over: The Epstein Files and Iran." And this is another quote from Thomas Massey, who I am still supporting, even though everybody's acting like it's Turncoat for no good reason.
It's on the BBC News YouTube.
Yeah, BBC Politics, checkmark, and BBC News. I would just type in the title of the video, honestly.
Okay.
It's quotation: "The Epstein files are still going to be here when this war is over. Dash the Epstein files in Iran."
And it took me to shorts. That's not right.
Front row.
Uh,
Gonna hide it from you.
yeah, sorry, I'm a slow typer.
No. Dead air is the enemy, Trevor. Dead air is the enemy. We must think of things to say. Avocado, watermelon.
Awkward silence.
Awkward silence. We could have no awkward silence. Oh no. I can read some of the angry comments. They're pretty much always the same while you're looking that up. On the window I've got here, the number one comment is Katsiobo. "All these PDF files need to be prosecuted." I agree. So yeah. And this is the one thing that's really infuriating. You got another comment here. "Thomas Massey is a brave American who has risked everything and paid a high cost to seek truth and speak truth to power." Yeah, but didn't you know that's a grandstander? Apparently speaking truth to power is grandstanding, according to the right now. And this is the thing that's like horrible about like all of this. You've got this contingent of the MAGA movement, which is basically demanding sycophancy. And then you've got the Alex Jones guys, which are just basically screaming about fear. And then, they're just scared, and they're scared of nuclear war and everything else. And then you've got
Okay.
this other component, which is like anti-Israel to the expulsion of all other subjects. Did you find what you were looking for?
What was I supposed to type in again?
Holy moly, Trevor.
Yeah, I'm not very good.
You've been doing this whole time. No. The Epstein files are still going to be here when this war is over. Quotation mark. That's the title of the vehicle. A video.
When the war is over. Okay. Yeah, that's how long it takes me to type. I'm sorry.
Wow. Okay, you're good. You're good.
Okay, I got it.
We're past that.
You want to file free?
Are we ready?
Alright, now I just need to get it on screen. Okay.
Okay.
Theater mode. Perfect.
Theater mode. Perfect. Okay.
Ready?
Well,
coming up.
Yeah, share the audio. You need to share the audio with me so I can hear it.
You're satisfied?
But,
you can't hear it?
Not right at this juncture, no. Let me see if I can get. I don't think I. No, subtitles are not available. Oh well.
I can
put subtitles on the video, Trevor, and then I will just read it as you're going.
Survivors are satisfied.
So yeah, I see a picture of Massey in a pretty red tie, but my
Oh, I should probably share it on Zoom, huh?
Yeah, that's part of the. Well, anyway, while you're working on that, I shall continue complaining.
Let's see. How do I share?
No, but the thing that kind of drives me nuts is, like, what in the world is Trump thinking by going after Massey? Like, Massey is a homesteader. I mean, this is a guy who makes his own butter and lives off grid. It's like, really, you're going to convince everybody that he's the big deep state operative you need to beat, and you're the underdog, or whoever you support's the underdog? Like, I don't see how in the world him going after Massey is going to work, even if Massey didn't have a bunch of funding.
Okay.
Are we ready?
If my computer shuts down because I'm trying to share in everything, I'm sorry.
Okay, that's encouraging.
Here we go.
Here we go. Moment of truth.
You are sharing your screen.
I see it. It's beautiful. So pretty.
Get that out of the way. Okay.
Oh, okay. I'm not gonna sing that song. It's Markiplier. Okay, so go on whenever you're ready.
Ready?
The war is obviously the biggest thing in the news in the United States, but the Epstein files are still going to be here when this war is over.
Yep.
And they're not going to go away.
I spoke to Republican Congressman Thomas Massey. He has been absolutely pivotal in pushing for the Epstein files to be released, all those millions of documents. Now, this is a congressman, Kentucky representative, a true Republican, who Donald Trump used to describe as a great...
Do what?
That's all right. I'm frozen on the live stream. That's all right. Don't worry about it if you can't get it.
That's what I was worried about.
I got all froze up again.
This year, he's called him a complete and absolute disaster. I spoke to Thomas Massey and I asked him first to reflect on the survivors.
Man, did I tell you what? This live streaming chews phone battery like crazy. It's insane.
Do you want to switch to your computer real quick?
No, let's just drop the video. If we don't have the ability to do it, we don't have the ability to do it. I was just wanting to...
It's just when I share stuff.
Okay, yeah, well then don't share it.
So if you have the live pulled up...
Yeah, I got the live pulled up, and I'll just read the closed captions if it's an issue. So, problem is I hate...
Dang.
That's all right. We need to get you properly equipped.
Properly set up, yeah.
Properly equipped. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Because it's every time I try and share the screen, it pauses. And I think it might be an OBS thing.
OBS is terrible. I've said that many a time already tonight. But anyway.
Because it'll pause my Zoom meeting, and then I'll have to reload Zoom to get it to keep playing on OBS.
It's okay. It's a night of technical difficulties. I don't know if you noticed, but I've like been flipping my camera around. It looks like a Dad Blame Joker footage. Like, look at me, that kind of thing. So, it's been miserable. Anyway, so yeah, whenever you're ready, we can play it again.
Okay.
As the asymmetry of the power there. I mean, you had Jeffrey Epstein, who on one hand was dealing with presidents and prime ministers and billionaires and knew how to conduct himself and project power among those folks. And then here he is with these young girls.
Is it playing, Trevor?
And I think, for me at that first press conference.
There we go. Got it.
Alongside the women.
Like 8 seconds behind on this live stream.
That was the first time that I met them. And I realized before that I wondered if it was appropriate to call Jeffrey Epstein a pedophile. Maybe he was a sexual deviant. But once I realized that they were 14 and 13, he was a pedophile. That's not an overuse of the word.
And they also told me they were grateful, most of them were grateful that the millions of documents from the Epstein files have now been released. But then they say, nothing. No arrests, no one's been asked to come, none of them have been asked to come in for an interview since the information was published. And as a result, they essentially feel gaslit.
Well, if people ask me, are you satisfied? Have there been enough documents produced? And my answer to that is I'm not satisfied until the survivors are satisfied. That's my benchmark. And obviously, in my floor speech here in the House of Representatives, I said men need to be perp walked in handcuffs to the jail. And until we see that here in this country, we've seen some of that in other countries, but until we see that here in this country, we don't have a system of justice that's working.
Are you confident you will see that?
I don't know if we're going to see it in this administration.
Why do you say that?
Because Pam Bondi has, she's been so against this. I would say from the beginning, but in the beginning, I think she earnestly was ready to release files, and then I think she wasn't in on the joke when they gave her those binders that had nothing in it. Then she found out she looked like a joke, and she shot off the angry letter to the FBI. But at some point, somebody got to Pam Bondi and said, it's your job to cover this up.
Do you genuinely believe that this is the top lawyer for the administration, that she would be... I mean, do you have any evidence that she's blocking stuff?
Oh, absolutely. And she's not just the top lawyer, she's the top law enforcement officer. She happens to be a lawyer, but she's the law enforcement officer. And she's not carrying out this law.
So that's interesting. Can you pause?
Intended. I can give you...
Yeah, I'm a few seconds behind you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he seems to be saying that Pam Bondi's whole thing has been like an ego trip. You know what I mean? Like, she may have earnestly wanted to release them in the beginning, but then she wound up with egg on her face, and now this is kind of like... she's either been pressured into it, or this is kind of like a spite thing.
Yeah.
The cover up. I don't know if I buy that, honestly. Like, it makes sense, but I don't think that's what it is. I think the corruption in the cover up has been with the FBI from the beginning. I think it's more like Trump was told by intelligence agencies or somebody to shut this up. And then that trickled down from Trump to Pam Bondi to Bongino and Cash and so on. So I think Trump's the one who has spearheaded it, but I think he was prompted by like the intelligence agencies or somebody like that to do so.
So you don't think he made the decision to try and stop it himself?
I think he could, but I think he's got people around him that are like, this will crash the economy. And then on top of that, he's got friends, you know what I mean? Like, in it. And that's
a hard decision to make.
Well, it is and it isn't. Like, well, really it isn't, because at the end of the day, the justice needs to be done. Their whole thing, or from his position, he said, and, Trump's generally honest, although he's been marginally less honest lately. But his thing is that his friends are on there, and the thing about Epstein is it was a blackmail racket. So you're gonna have guilty and innocent mixed together. Like, we don't know who was innocent. We don't know who was guilty because Epstein was rubbing elbows with literally everybody because that was his job. He was a honeypot guy.
Yeah.
So he's connected to everyone. And so, but that being said, you still gotta do the investigating. You got to figure out who did what and when and where and all that. And they won't do it because they don't want the kangaroo court nature of it or whatever.
Or they've already done the investigations and realized this is going to hurt the economy so bad. And they don't want to do that.
I would have said, you might be right. You might be right. And I would have said that before until I saw like the millions upon millions of documents. And I think this thing was just huge and a cluster. And there's a lot of truth and lies kind of all mixed together, and nobody knows what's what, except maybe like, the certain 3-letter agency that seems to be the cause of all our woes.
Yeah.
Starting with C and ending with A. So anyway, that little agency, I think, has been, been doing this for like years. And, how do I explain this? It's like, not all this information is coming from one source.
Yeah.
So you've got the CIA covering up some of this, but then you've also have people making legitimate complaints to the FBI. So it's like the CIA can't get to everything, but at the same time, their thing is so massive that, they can't get to everything, and their thing is so massive that there's a bunch of disparate facts and information, and it's just kind of it's confusing, is what I'm trying to say.
It's very
and
confusing.
That's why the CIA hasn't been able to cover it up so completely, because it's so large. But at the same time, you have no idea who's innocent and who's guilty.
Yeah.
So I just don't think they want to look at it, because a lot of people are going to have egg on their face, whether they're innocent or guilty, just because of their association with them.
Just because there's like one photo in all that mess of them.
Yeah. Well, the Michael Jackson stuff's a perfect example. Like, Epstein was just going up to people and taking pictures. They didn't know who he was from Adam.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, this guy knew, Michael Jackson knew Jeffrey Epstein. Well, it's like, well, no, he didn't.
They met once.
They met once at a party, and he took like 8 pictures with them. And you can kind of tell, because Jackson's face is like, who is this guy? And so I understand, like, there's innocent and guilty people in there, but you have to grab the guilty guys, because this is systemic. This is a system. This isn't like just random bad actors or isolated situations. There's an infrastructure here.
Yeah.
That's why it needs to be taken apart. And this infrastructure might be funded by our very government. Your taxpayer dollars are going to child trafficking. That's why it matters.
Yeah.
And so I understand people not wanting to get egg on their face, but I, as an American, have the right to know that my taxpayer dollars are not going to child sex trafficking.
Yeah.
So it needs done, and the fact that he hasn't done it, or he's been so resistant to it's kind of just made me sick.
Yeah, it's very irritating.
Mm-hmm. But that's the worst thing about Trump, is it's like, some things he does I get so unbelievably mad at, and then other things I'm like, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. Like, I'll tell you my theory on the war in Iran, for instance. I was talking to Jess about this last night, and NATO hasn't helped with the war, which I knew they wouldn't, because NATO has been using Iran as a proxy army. Of course, they're not going to help Trump blow it up. And, at first I thought Trump wasn't aware of that, but I've been watching like speeches of his and stuff, and he keeps bringing up well, NATO just won't help us. NATO just won't help us. It's such a shame. And the way he says it and the way he keeps repeating it, I'm like, don't you? And you're kind of subtly telling people that NATO's not our friends. They're part of this, whole thing to, I don't know, delegitimize America, probably the most sanitary way to put it.
It does seem like a lot of other countries are doing that here lately.
Like trying to delegitimize us or not.
Yeah, they just don't like us.
Yeah, well, it's all the people we've considered traditionally allies. And we're having to build new allies.
That's scary. That's just scary thinking about that.
No, not really, because they've never been our allies. That's the thing. It's always been a lie. Britain never got over the War of 1776. That's the truth of it.
Really?
They're still pouting. Yeah, that's what it is. It's like they've never been our friends. Like, this is why I keep going off about Fabian socialists in the academic class. The whole goal is to destroy the nation state. Well, how do you destroy a nation state? Well, you build the same conditions as Rome. And that is, you basically have a bunch of random wars that you use as an embezzlement racket so you can, just drain the, shoot up inflation and drain the economy. And that's what Ukraine was. That's what Afghanistan was. That's what Iraq was. I mean, it's embezzlement. It's embezzlement to, get rid of your purchasing power. And then at the same time, you flood the border. And that's what happened to Rome. They had too many wars. They spent too much money, and then they got invaded by foreigners. Slowly, those are the conditions they have been working ceaselessly to create. And so one of the things that you have to do to beat this quote unquote globalist thing is you've got to get rid of the proxy army. Iran is the proxy army because guess what? Terrorism is an economic tool. Now, maybe the guys on the ground believe in Islam, but the people that have the money are Machiavellian. And if that weren't the case, the Houthi Muslims that are guarding that strait where all the energy is coming from, the Strait of Hormuz, I believe, all those terrorists would have flooded Israel and attacked Israel a long time ago. They don't. Those terrorists don't. The majority of the terrorists Iran fund are out throughout the Middle East guarding certain positions. Why? Because it has nothing to do with Islam. That's a pretense. It's money. They're a proxy army to keep the Middle East destabilized so the big countries like the United States go in there and drain resources with war after war after war after war. And so, yes, the fear of forever war is legitimate, but it's never going to change until you get rid of the hub of all the proxy armies. Like every terrorist group, every destabilizing factor in the Middle East, the hub is Iran. And that's why NATO is not helping. And I think it's interesting, or at least that's my opinion, that's what I believe. But I think it's very interesting that Trump just kind of keeps going, they should have helped. They should have helped. And I can't help but think, whenever I hear that, just something about his tone and the way he says it, I kind of sit there and I go, are you telling us they're not our ally? Like subtly? Or are you trying to plan a break from NATO? Because I know that. And a lot of the people I listen to know that. I've never heard you say it though, but are you softening people up to part ways of Europe? And so he does things like that. Like if that's what he's doing, I'm like, that's brilliant and that's exactly the way you need to handle it. But then he does this crap like with the Epstein files, and I want to scream my head off. And I just so sometimes I really do feel like he's doing 4D chess, and then other times I'm like, what the crap are you doing? What are you thinking? It's very, very frustrating.
Yeah.
For me. So, what are your thoughts? I've talked for like 10 minutes. What are your thoughts?
I don't know.
Did I ramble in a circle, or did all that make sense?
No, it makes sense. I just I can't really add to it,
Well, it's speculation anyway.
Yeah.
So, but hopefully this Iran thing will wrap up fairly quickly, and then we can get back to dealing with the PDFs. So,
Yay.
maybe we can get more of that in time. But I appreciate you setting up an update. We hadn't talked about it in a while, and you know how irritable I am on that subject. So
Yeah, it just popped up as I logged in, so I was like, you know what, we should probably just do something on it.
yeah. All right. Well, I think we're good. Are we good? You got any
Yeah.
final thoughts?
No, I don't have any final thoughts on it.
All right. Well, guys, we're going to move on to part 3. So if you're on the live cast, stay with us. If you are watching this after the fact, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time. Yeah, you gotta watch that audio, man. It'll trip you up. Trip you up. Did it mute it?
Oh,
Ain't that ridiculous? I hate
okay.
OBS.
I'm just gonna pull up our next subject.
Okay. All right. While you're getting it fixed, I'll move on.
It's
So
fixed.
welcome. Okay. All right. Welcome to Faith, Fiction, and Folklore, or as we like to call it, the Tri-F Podcast, where we try not to mess the podcast up. And today,
We've already
everything is
messed it up.
trying to kill you.
Why is everything trying to kill you?
Everything is trying to kill you. I don't know. Apparently, a corpse makes more money somehow. Soylent Green is people. Anyway,
OBS
let me
is
look at
trying
this.
to kill me.
Yeah, OBS is the worst. I mean, let me show you something, Trevor.
No.
I don't know if you can see that or not.
What is it?
This thing that looks like a turd.
It looks like a really old Twinkie.
It is not a really old Twinkie.
That's where my brain went.
This is wood ash soap. I made this, and I have been washing myself with it for like a week. And I thought,
does it
I
feel
was
like
gonna
a
get like
Twinkie?
not even close. That would be
Oh.
showering with a Twinkie. Well, I'm going to go to bed with that horrible visual tonight. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah. No, I was expecting it to be really hard on the skin and it to be horribly uncomfortable and everything, but no, like everything's kind of like healing up. Zits are going away, and I was like shocked by it, like how well it actually works. And I realized, holy crap, there must be a lot more stuff in our soap than I realized. And that got me to thinking while we were talking earlier tonight about like toothpaste and what the additives are, like what kind of additives. Because this is kind of one of those older conspiracy theory things that once upon a time you would have been nuts for even asking. But given the fact that everything else has turned out to be true, I kind of wonder if people like add harmful crap to products so you have to buy more product.
Yeah.
Like, I really am starting to think that's like an actual business model and a norm, not a bug, as it were.
Yeah.
So
well,
to date this, we had a article about Crest we were going to read, right?
Yeah, I just pulled up something on MSN. It says 6 whitening toothpaste that might be harming your teeth more than helping.
Might. Note, there's your legalese word. Might. Might. Maybe. Possibly. May. Don't sue. Those qualifiers usually mean don't sue when it comes from certain sources.
Well, the story is by Son of Gray, so I don't know if it's legit or not.
Son of Gray?
So it says story by Son of Gray.
Sounds like a Lord of the Rings character.
Or Dorian Gray from League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Oh, what a great movie. Totally underrated. We need to do a review of that. But our reviews always do terrible, so I don't know.
I don't care. They're fun.
I love that. Yeah, I love that movie. So anyway, sorry, go on.
We should just watch that movie on stream. Just do a live stream.
Oh yeah, because the Chuck Norris thing worked out so well last week. It's like, boy, we better shut this off before the stream.
I so wish we could have saved that.
Yeah, I know. I tried. I spent like an hour trying, but there was nothing I could do.
Nothing
So,
at all.
yeah.
That's too bad.
So you want to go to this article, or what's the deal?
Alright, whitening toothpaste promise a brighter smile, but not all products live up to their claims, and some may actually harm your teeth. While these toothpastes can remove surface stains, they often contain abrasives or chemicals that can wear down enamel, increase sensitivity, or irritate gums. Understanding which whitening toothpastes are risky and how to choose safer options is essential for maintaining both a bright smile and long-term oral health. So it goes on to list toothpastes with harsh abrasives. Many whitening toothpastes rely on abrasive agents to scrub away stains, but these can be too harsh for daily use.
See,
Products
that's what I kind of figured was going on of Crest. Does it mention Crest essentially, or just all? Let's see, what do they got here? Colgate,
Colgate Optic White
Crest. Yeah,
toothpaste and Crest 3D White, which I actually used Crest a lot growing up, and the
yeah,
3D White one was one of the main ones. And
yeah,
my teeth were always messed up, always.
yeah. Me too. Yeah, I had like gum disease. My gums were bleeding. I was always getting cavities, and it stayed that way until I switched over to Sensodyne and like started like gargling peroxide and stuff. But
Well,
I had to get away from Crest and Colgate because yeah, I couldn't. I was always having to go to the dentist, and my gums wouldn't stop bleeding. It's pretty miserable. So
what's that called when your gums are bleeding like that? That is a
I think
name, doesn't
it's
it?
gingivitis or some kind of gum disease.
Gingivitis. That's
Yeah.
it.
So I think it's that my theory, my opinion, allegedly, is I think it's that abrasive stuff.
Wow.
I think it's that abrasive stuff that creates that effect. That's just my opinion, though.
And that's just toothpaste.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I think it's in soaps. I think it's in like laundry detergent. I just think they put stuff in there. I even think like this is my conspiracy theory, and people can tell me if you think I'm right or wrong. I honestly think that shampoo is designed to dry your hair out, so you have to get conditioner to re-moisturize your hair.
That's
And
the way
that's
it
why
is
they're
for
sold
me.
on hairs. It's like a bulk, round and round and round and round we go,
Yeah, if I don't use conditioner, my hair is just dried out and dead.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't think I think it's by design. I think it's by design. There's certain brands that you can get that don't do that, but I'm always kind of like, you guys know what you're doing.
Yeah.
So,
So yeah, the ones that have the shampoo and conditioner mixed together,
mhm,
it's like I take a shower and use it, and then it's like I never even took a shower an hour or two later when my hair dries
right.
out completely.
Yeah. No, I think it's a giant conspiracy. I do. I do. It's like like weight loss products designed to make you fat. So you have to buy more weight loss products and on and on and on. That's the way a lot of them work.
Yeah.
Like I've been off and on into exercising for a while now.
How many
I'm
demons
no
have you got rid of?
Huh?
How many demons have you got rid of?
How many demons have I got rid of? By demons, do you mean pounds? Like, what do you mean demons?
You said you were exercising.
I meant physical. I don't mean.
Oh, physical
Oh,
exercise, not
exorcism. Play like
exorcisms.
you don't know what I'm talking about. Are you being punny, Trevor?
No,
Is that you being punny? Yeah.
no, no.
No. No, I been getting into it, but when I was a kid, I used to be into it as well, but I could not lose weight for the life of me, you know, because the one thing the one thing that they told you not to do is what I wound up having to do to lose weight. Just like that toothpaste article we saw earlier before we did the show. You remember it? It was like blaming fluoride
Yeah,
and Sensodyne. It was like targeting those two things specifically. Like it wasn't blaming fluoride. It was blaming peroxide and Sensodyne. And I was like, those are the two things I used to get rid of my gingivitis was peroxide and Sensodyne. And they're telling you not to use it in that very article. I'm like, that can't be a coincidence.
Yeah, that's in this next part here. High concentration chemical whiteners like hydrogen peroxide or carbamide peroxide to bleach stains. While effective at removing discoloration, excessive use can irritate the gums and soften enamel.
Find excessive use. You always got to watch. You got to, because these things are like, they're liars that have got lawyers going in and checking everything to make sure they can't get sued. What does excessive use mean? You know?
Drinking too much water can hurt you.
That's what I use to fix it. That's what I use to fix my stuff.
Huh.
So,
wow.
It's incredible. But anyway, gosh, where was I? I started doing a tangent. Oh, fat loss. Yeah. You know, the stuff that they told you to do to lose weight is like stuff that's going to guarantee you're fat and you stay fat, you know, because it took me forever to figure out how to lose weight. And I remember you saw me in my 20s as a balloon.
Yeah.
So
like eating more healthy. Well, what does that entail?
Right.
Spend more money.
Well, it means more carbs. And, you know, don't build muscle. Just like diet down, which eats your muscle away, and then you don't have as fast a metabolism, and then you have to, you know.
Or any energy.
Right, yeah. Your base metabolic rate drops, and so it gets harder and harder to diet down. Like you have to do resistance training too, otherwise there's no point.
Yeah.
But anyway, but I remember like being so frustrated with all the things that like I would buy Shakeology and I would get like the Beachbody stuff and I would sit there and do all these little gimmicks. And some of it, like I always felt like when it came to Beachbody, like the trainers were sincere. But man, every time I dealt with that supplement company, they were like Satan.
Really?
You know? Yeah, like it was like you just got a completely different vibe from the supplement people. And so you were trying to get food to lose weight, like Shakeology, you know, and it none of that ever worked. Like it never worked. But you know, it wasn't until like I started watching the Hodge twins and it was like,
we got a good show for y'all.
Yeah. Well, they had like dieting stuff, you know, and they showed you how to work out. And I remember watching, I feel like the Almighty like spoke to me, and I'm not being facetious when I say that. I really mean that. But I remember watching it like just eat Chick-fil-A. And this is what I thought I heard the Almighty say. It's not a question of discipline. It's a question of math. Like you got to do the math because that was all they were doing. They were eating the sandwich with the high protein and stuff.
Yeah.
And it didn't matter. Like macros are macros. You know, if they're crap, fine. But eating 1,500 calories that are crappy calories is better than, you know, eating at a surplus of like quote unquote healthy stuff. You know what I mean? Like macros are macros. Stuff. Yeah, like salads and stuff. And so anyway, it just like once I realized, because they always told you they told you two things. They told you don't count your calories because it's not about counting calories, it's about eating healthy. You know, and healthy calories are going to be good for you.
Well, then there's the other side that I always heard to count my calories.
Well, you're supposed to. Like, really, you're supposed to count your calories. Like, it is calories in, calories out. That's like how it's supposed to go. But when I was in my 20s trying to figure out how to do this and listening to Beachbody people, they would be like, it's got to be healthy. You gotta do healthy because nobody knows what that means.
Yeah.
You know, nobody knows what healthy means. And I'll give you a perfect example of this. Like, if you don't understand macros, like healthy doesn't mean anything. Like one of my attempts to lose weight, I like literally, I was being good, and for breakfast I had my shake, right? And then for lunch I had my tilapia and broccoli, which is horrible. And then I had my sweet potatoes for dinner.
Speaking of
And
tilapia,
here's what, huh?
I tried tilapia for the first time last night.
I hated it.
Oh, that was
I
alright.
hated, I hated those meals. Like, well, I shouldn't say I kept getting sick. So I started hating it because I kept getting sick, not necessarily because of the taste. The food wouldn't keep in a few days. So anyway, but I had my sweet potatoes, and I didn't lose weight, or if I did, it was like less than 10 pounds or whatever after a so many month program. But here's the thing: the reason I didn't lose weight is because I was frying the sweet potatoes in coconut oil. And somebody had told me coconut oil was healthy, so I was eating healthy by doing the coconut oil. Well, coconut oil is like absurdly calorie dense.
Really?
You know what I mean? So yeah, it was like that, and I think I was adding too much almond milk in my shake. Like little things like that were destroying the deficit that I was trying to build by the working out and restraining my eating. So I was wasting my time plowing through all that tilapia and broccoli because all my sweet potatoes were saturated in coconut oil. So, that's the problem. Is it's like people don't know what that stuff means, and I think they kind of intentionally obfuscate what that stuff means, or at least they used to until like the YouTube thing came out, and then the Hodge twins and other guys came out that actually showed you how to eat and confirmed, at least for me, that it was counting calories, and I didn't have to think about, you know, I didn't have to think about like eating healthy, which was a huge relief for me.
Yeah.
Like I lost 69 pounds off Chick-fil-A and protein shakes.
I bet that was good.
It worked. you know, there was a nearby Chick-fil-A, so I had like like I don't know, a couple sandwiches or whatever, and then I had a protein shake, and that worked. But
My favorite
see,
is their spicy chicken sandwich.
yeah, that was good. But you see, when I was in college, if I'd said, "Oh, I'm doing fast food and shakes," and keeping track of my protein and calories, I'm not very well. I've never tracked carbs or fats, but I just do calorie and protein. Um, but if I'd said anything like that in college, where you're supposed to be learning how to do all this, they'd have freaked out.
Yeah, right?
They'd have freaked out. They'd be like, "You can't do that." It's like, well, I don't have time to cook. I got to do something. But they make you feel like if you can't do all of it, you shouldn't even bother doing any of it, which just keeps you stuck. So, is somebody talking to you? He's apparently speaking to Dina, I believe. So while he is communicating with his wife, I shall continue to kill the dead air, or try not to allow there to be dead air. So anyway, my point is, I think a lot of this is just kind of by design, like it's bad advice that's done on purpose. So I'm getting conspiratorial the older I get, though, so I could be wrong. What do you think, Trevor?
uh, sorry about that.
No, you're good. Is everything okay?
Yeah, they're singing happy birthday to my daughter, so they're asking if I could join them.
You need to go because we've been at it for like, how long have we been at it? We've been at it for hour 42? No?
Oh wow,
2 hours and 15 minutes. We've been at it for a while, man.
that's crazy.
You got a little, how about you wrap it up? Like, we can probably pick this up next week because
Okay.
I just wound up ranting and we didn't even look at the articles that we pulled. So I just wound up going, I hate toothpaste and Beachbody. That was like the summation of the show. So
Well, yeah. Let's just go ahead and wrap it up, and we'll see. Because the first part
I'm gonna try to save it when it becomes available because that was a good exchange.
Yeah,
with
that was
mushroom.
a very good exchange, and that'll at least play.
Yeah, I'll try to salvage that if I can. But yeah, I'll have to wait. You'll either have to email me if you recorded it, or I'll have to wait to download it once YouTube downloads it. So it'll be a middle of the week before we get to it. But anyway, that's okay. You have any final thoughts, Mr. Trevor?
No, I do not. Sorry about my poor, what's it called? I'll try
I don't
harder.
know. I don't know what you're saying.
It's not hosting, it's, producing. That's the word.
Oh, you'll get better. Look, you just got to do it.
Yeah.
You know, like that's the only way to get good at this stuff is to suck at the beginning. Like there's no way around it. You just got to do it, and you learn as you go. That's just life. So don't stress out.
Okay.
Someday you'll be doing it like a wizard. It'll be great. So,
Okay.
all right, guys, we're gonna wrap it up. Thank you
so
so much for watching. Appreciate y'all. We'll continue this everything is trying to kill you thought next time.
Yeah, because we had
ain't
an
done
article, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, we got like one article in, and then we had like 2 or 3, and then I went on tangent. So we'll pick it up next week. So, guys, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
Thank you. See you later, Beans to Calyx.